My wife claimed she was on a girls' trip. Then one of the girls DM'd me, "Just so you know, she's not here." I replied, "Appreciate it." When she came back, her keycard didn't work, but the papers on the door did. Ethan, 33, a senior cybersecurity engineer, had been with Olivia, 32, a corporate trainer, for 5 long years. We were married for 2 of those years. We lived in a stunning, waterfront apartment in Miami, Florida. My annual salary was $130,000. Olivia earned a $95,000, totaling $225,000 combined. Our life was all about appearance and luxury. We leased 2 expensive European cars. Our weekends were spent at exclusive yacht clubs and pretentious art galas. Olivia's world revolved entirely around status. She often told me my engineering job was not client-facing enough. The entire relationship was a study in her control and my quiet compliance. This reached a breaking point when she took a weekend trip. Olivia claimed she was going on a girls' trip to Key West. I was working late on a project. Then, her friend Sarah messaged me directly. Sarah was kind, unlike the rest of the group. "Just so you know." Sarah's message read clearly, "She's not here with us." I understood the message instantly. Olivia was not on a girls' trip. I just typed back one word. "Appreciate it." I replied, feeling a cold, clean certainty settle over me. That same week, a massive career opportunity materialized. I was headhunted for the Vice President of Security Engineering role. The company was a major financial institution moving to Salt Lake City, Utah. The offer was a life changer. It included a base salary of $275,000. There was a $60,000 signing bonus right away. Plus, I would receive $50,000 in annual stock grants. My first year total compensation was $380,000. I presented the offer to Olivia when she returned home 2 days later. She arrived looking slightly rattled. I showed her the official letter detailing the figures. She barely registered the numbers. "Salt Lake City?" she asked, wrinkling her nose deeply. "That is a boring, cold mountain town. It's VP of Security Engineering," I explained, trying to maintain an even tone. "The base salary is $275,000. Miami is a global city, Ethan," she stated, tossing the paper onto the marble counter. "Utah has no culture for us. It is a $255,000 raise, Olivia," I pointed out, my voice flat. "That buys the security you claim you want." She leaned against the counter, crossing her arms, her eyes hard and cold. "You clearly lack the ambition for Miami," she decided. "You are just trying to escape the pressure here." I just looked at her, entirely numb to her insults. I realized she had never respected me. Her betrayal and her cruelty had already given me all the permission I needed. Update 1. The day after I received the anonymous warning, I called the Salt Lake City company. I formally accepted the vice president role. My start date was 6 weeks away. I moved immediately, but quietly. I opened 3 new, separate accounts in my name only. I changed my direct deposit and transferred all joint savings into my account. I then bought a cashier's check for her half and deposited it into her personal account. Olivia continued to shut down any discussion about the move. She truly believed her mockery had been successful. "The Salt Lake City subject is closed," she repeated several times over the next week. "Stop talking about failure. I am moving to a VP role," I countered calmly once. "This is not failure, Olivia. You are just running to the mountains," she insisted dismissively. "You cannot handle real competition." Our mutual friends, who adored Olivia's flashy, high society life, echoed her dismissive lines. My friend Leo called me, sounding almost patronizing. "Olivia says you had a breakdown," Leo said, his voice full of pity. "She says you took a remote job with a pay cut." "I am the vice president of security engineering," I informed him factually. "My base salary is $275,000. Miami status is better than any job in Utah," he insisted, repeating her creed exactly. "You are making a huge error." I let the mockery pass, focusing on my silent plan. I researched apartments and secured a short-term, fully furnished executive rental in Salt Lake City. I quietly gathered all my important legal and financial documents. I filed the initial, no-fault divorce paperwork with the Miami court. The wheels of my departure were turning efficiently and silently. Update 2. My flight to Salt Lake City was only 1 week away. I had spent the weekend moving my few personal belongings into a small storage unit. I called Olivia and told her we needed to talk about our future, urging her to meet me at our attorney's office. I did not mention the divorce papers. She arrived late, looking irritated and dismissive. She thought I was finally going to admit defeat and beg her forgiveness. This is ridiculous drama. Ethan, she said, leaning back in the chair. Just tell them we are staying in Miami. I resigned my job a month ago, I stated, placing the stack of divorce documents and asset division papers on the table. I start as VP next week. These are the divorce papers. The color completely drained from her face. She stared at the bold letters, petition for dissolution of marriage. She snatched the top paper. Divorce, she hissed, her voice a raw whisper of pure disbelief. You are leaving me for Utah. I am leaving a partner who has zero respect for my ambition, I stated, my tone unwavering. And who betrays my trust with obvious lies? I was testing you, Ethan. She insisted, trying to twist the situation. I was trying to see if you really loved me more than your job. You were lying about your whereabouts. I corrected her, leaning back calmly. And you repeatedly insulted my career in public. I know your character now. She delivered the final, predictable ultimatum, her eyes welling up with furious tears. If you file those papers, it's over, she declared, pointing a shaking finger at the desk. You choose a pathetic mountain town over your wife. I picked up the pen and signed the documents, including the no-fault clause I had drafted. I choose the VP of Security Engineering role, I said, pushing the papers toward the attorney. I choose my self-respect. She jumped up, screaming a series of incoherent insults, and ran out of the office. The attorney and I completed the paperwork in a peaceful silence. The marriage was over, legally and emotionally. Update 3. The fallout over the next 2 weeks was dramatic and entirely played out via email. I had changed the locks and disabled her apartment keycard upon filing the papers. I taped the notice of divorce and a cashier's check for her share of the remaining joint accounts to the door. When she came back from her trip, the keycard did not work, but the papers were waiting. She spent the first week sending torrents of enraged, abusive emails. She accused me of being a cold, calculating monster. You will be miserably alone in that boring city. One email read, you need the life I provide you. I am looking forward to the quiet and the professional challenge. I replied once, then set my email filter to archive her subsequent messages. She then shifted to desperate bargaining, leaving long, tearful voicemails. She promised to move to Salt Lake City. I will be a Utah wife, she pleaded in one voicemail. I will change my entire career. Please take me back, Ethan. I cannot build a future with someone whose true nature is betrayal and contempt. I stated simply in a final text message, the marriage is over. When bargaining failed, she entered a phase of theatrical depression, posting sad, vague messages about betrayal on her private social media. I remained completely rational and detached. Her performance held no power over me. I drove out of Miami one morning, leaving the apartment empty and the keys with the doorman. I felt an immense wave of relief. My new life in Salt Lake City began immediately. The VP job was demanding, but I was respected and empowered. I was immediately building the security infrastructure I had always wanted. I finally felt free to succeed. Update 4. I spent the next 8 months completely thriving in my new city. I immersed myself in the role, building a high-performing security team from the ground up. I joined a hiking club and a local mentorship program for young engineers. My colleagues and neighbors were genuine, focused people. My professional success was exponential, earning me a spotlight feature in a major industry magazine. My financial status was radically transformed. The $60,000 signing bonus was a massive injection of cash. I used my growing capital to purchase a beautiful, modern townhouse. The property, valued at $625,000, was high on the bench, offering stunning views of the valley. I finally had stability and true ownership, bought entirely with my new income. Around the 6-month mark, I started receiving confused calls and messages from our old Miami circle. Her friend, David, whom I had always liked, reached out. Ethan, Olivia told everyone you were fired for gross misconduct. David texted, sounding genuinely perplexed. She said you were broke and had to move home with your mother. I am the vice president of security engineering. I corrected him with calm authority. I lead a major department and own a house here. She claimed you were too emotionally unstable for the job. David admitted, clearly embarrassed. I knew that sounded like a lie. The extent of Olivia's fabricated narrative was astonishing. She had invented a complete story of my personal and financial ruin. I ignored most of the friend messages, but maintained a polite, factual relationship with David. I let the truth of my success slowly unravel her deception. Update 5. My company hosted a major security summit, and I was the keynote speaker. My photo and official title were featured prominently in the national press coverage. I posted the professional photograph, along with a statement about the company's success, on my LinkedIn profile. My full VP title, my high salary, and my undeniable success were publicly broadcast. The undeniable truth of my 385K plus life was instantly visible to everyone in my network. Olivia's reaction was immediate and desperate. My phone and email were flooded with frantic, pleading messages. Olivia. Ethan, I knew you were always meant for this. I am so incredibly proud. I miss you desperately. Olivia. I made a huge error. Miami is empty and cold. I should have supported you. Please forgive me. Olivia. I see now that you are the most successful man I have ever known. Let me move to Salt Lake. Her desperate attempts to reclaim me, now that I was undeniably successful, brought a cold sense of vindication. Former friends and colleagues who had doubted me rushed to offer belated apologies. I am truly sorry I believed her story. My old director emailed me. P of security is huge, Ethan. Congratulations. Thank you, I replied simply. I am focused on the work here. My family called, overflowing with pride for my career and my new house. Their genuine validation was all I needed. I deleted every single email and text from Olivia without responding. My success was the only answer required. Update 6. The digital pleading led to the inevitable in-person attempt a few weeks later. I was walking out of my townhouse one Saturday morning, heading to the gym. I saw Olivia waiting near my mailbox. She had flown to Salt Lake City and somehow tracked down my address. She was dressed in an expensive, new, but out-of-place fur coat. Ethan, please, I had to see you, she said, rushing toward me, her eyes red-rimmed with desperation. I need to apologize for everything. This is completely inappropriate. I stated, my voice low and firm. You need to leave my property. I came here to show you that I've changed. She insisted, trying to block my access to my car. I am ready to be a VP's wife. I can learn to love the mountains. You said I lacked the ambition for Miami. I reminded her, crossing my arms over my chest. You claimed you were on a girl's trip when you were somewhere else. I was confused and stressed. She pleaded, trying to create a narrative of temporary weakness. I was only trying to protect myself. You were betraying me and mocking my career. I corrected her with calm certainty. And you are only here because my income is $385,000 and I own this house. She started to cry theatrically, trying to force sympathy. My heart has changed, Ethan, she insisted. I love you. I want to share this life. Your circumstances changed, Olivia. I replied, my voice completely firm. My circumstances changed and you decided I was worthy. That is not love. I pulled out my phone and began dialing the non-emergency police line. She saw the number on the screen and realized the finality of my action. She spun around and ran back toward her rental car. Defeated and humiliated, the boundary was set, permanently. Update 7. Olivia's final acts of revenge moved immediately into the legal and public sphere. I quickly received aggressive letters from her Miami lawyer. They attempted to claim a partial interest in my new house, arguing it was purchased with funds generated from the relationship. They also claimed emotional distress compensation. The letters were pure legal harassment. I forwarded everything to my Salt Lake City attorney, Ben, an expert in high-asset divorce. I had meticulously documented the entire separation, including the no-fault divorce filing and the clear financial separation agreement. Ben quickly prepared a sharp, factual counter-response. He showed that all assets were acquired post-breakup, using new, post-divorce income. He included evidence of her public mockery and betrayal. The legal threat stopped entirely. Next, Olivia launched a final, bitter social media campaign. Using several anonymous profiles, she posted vicious, poorly written accusations. She claimed I was a ruthless manipulator, and that I had abandoned her to pursue money. Her campaign failed instantly and severely. Mutual friends who had followed her unraveling stepped in to defend me. They called her out publicly and ruthlessly. David, sir, friend, Olivia. This has to stop. He is a VP and owns a beautiful home. You lied about his job. Old colleague. She threw him away for status. Now she is crying betrayal. It's laughable. The public shaming and the clear evidence of her initial betrayal destroyed her credibility. Her few remaining allies retreated. She deleted the accounts within hours and completely vanished from the digital space. Her attempts at revenge had only solidified her defeat and my clean break. Update 8. 1 year later, my life was profoundly successful and stable. I had solidified my VP of Security Engineering title and was now on the executive leadership track. My base salary was $300,000, and my overall compensation package was well over $500,000 annually. I purchased a third property, a small mountain condo for skiing weekends. My net worth was substantial. I was in a deeply loving, committed relationship with my new partner, Grace, a kind and brilliant software architect. Grace was completely supportive, generous, and entirely secure in her own success. I received one final, short message from Olivia via an obscure third-party application. Olivia, I saw photos of your mountain condo. You have everything I ever wanted. I am still here, struggling. I am truly sorry for the words and the lies. I regret everything. It was a final, honest admission of her deep regret and the painful consequences of her materialism and betrayal. I felt a quiet sense of closure. I knew I needed to maintain the boundary firmly. Thank you for the message, Olivia. I replied, keeping it short and kind. I wish you the best for your future. I blocked the account immediately. The chapter was closed with quiet dignity. I was far past the memory of her betrayal, fully focused on the life I had built. Final update: 2 months ago, I was back in Miami for a large financial conference. I called Olivia's parents, Stephen and Diane, whom I had always respected. We met for lunch at a quiet suburban cafe outside the city. They looked subdued and carried a weight of quiet worry. "Ethan, you look incredibly happy," Diane said, giving me a sincere hug. "The promotion is well deserved." Salt Lake City was exactly the change I needed, I confirmed, smiling warmly. Stephen looked at me, his eyes heavy with profound sadness and regret. "We owe you a major apology," Stephen began, his voice rough. "We raised Olivia to be self-centered and only focused on status. We taught her that only the most expensive life was worth having," Diane confessed, her voice thick with emotion. "She could not see your character or your ambition. She only saw the money she thought you lacked. She was very cruel about my career," I acknowledged gently. "She was," Stephen agreed, sighing deeply. "And now she has nothing but the memory of the life she betrayed and threw away. That is her final, painful consequence." I accepted their sincere apology. Their admission of their own flawed values and parenting brought the final, necessary closure. The most important lesson I learned from Olivia's betrayal is profound. When someone chooses betrayal and contempt over respect, your only dignified response is a calm, rational, and permanent exit. Do not engage in their drama or fight their lies. Instead, quietly use their insult as the fuel for your complete transformation. Build a life of undeniable success and genuine happiness. Your peace and self-possession will be the only reply you ever need. I am 34 now, a VP of Security Engineering, and deeply in love with Grace. I am happy, financially secure, and completely fulfilled.